I want to talk about how we judge health. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet. The reason I make these videos is to help people to understand that your mental health and your physical health come together to create the overall feeling of well being. I had an interesting conversation with someone, and it made me stop and ask the question about, where is our idea of health located? And it's okay, I know this sounds weird, but follow me for a second. Is health internal or external? It's kind of like that idea of the locus of control, right? Are you an internally focused person? So are you internal locus of control, or are you an external locus of control? And I recognize when I look at this that a lot of people are externally focused when it comes to health. So this idea that health is about the number that you get when you step on the scale, or the way that your skin, your complexion looks, or how much you could lift in the gym, or the way that you look in a bikini. This idea that health is something you can see from afar. But actually, that's exactly not what health is. In actuality, health is internal. So, for example, I could look really good from outside, but yet be diabetic or have heart disease or have liver disease, or right? I could look really good from external, but internally my body's not functioning. So in that case, do I have good health? Well, actually the answer to that is no. And so what's very interesting to me is that when people mistakenly focus their attention on the number on the scale, what they're actually doing is saying that what other people see of them is more important than what's happening internally with them. And I feel like that puts us in the position where we're not actually paying attention to how we build this. So the same way that if I'm more interested in what people think about what I'm doing than what I think about what I'm doing, I'm making their ideas about me more important than my ideas about me from the psychological side of this story. It's the same thing for the physical side of the story. So one of the reasons that I'm bringing this up is that whole idea that when I need to choose what I'm going to eat, for example, that I care what you think about what I'm putting on my plate. And the answer for me is no, I don't. You could like what I have on my plate, or you could think that what I have on my plate is disgusting. If I know that this is healthier for me than eating carbohydrates, I'm going to eat it. So, for example, there are lots of people that probably wouldn't think of eating something like pork belly, but yet I'll eat that because it's healthy and it tastes good and I like it, and it allows me to eat and feel satiated and go a long period of time. I do believe that there's so many times where we're so focused on how other people are going to judge what we're doing, rather than looking at how what we are doing helps us to feel, that we end up in a bad situation with ourselves. It's the same thing with the amount of exercise that I get. Am I pushing myself to go to the gym, or to do spinning classes, or to climb a mountain, or to do things that maybe are not in line with who I am because it's going to look good to other people, when maybe the kind of exercise that I really enjoy is going for walks? Maybe the kind of exercise that I enjoy is doing things that are more in line with, maybe I don't want to let people know that I love longboarding because I feel like they're going to judge me because I'm too old. But actually, that's really what I love to do. There's so many people that I know who wouldn't even step on, for example, a skate cycle because they're afraid to fall and look silly. Whereas I hopped on and I tried it out and I did fall down and I didn't care. Because for me, engaging in activity that I find interesting and that's going to be possibly good for my body, in eating food that I find delicious, that I know is going to be healthier for me than eating the cake that you're trying to get me to eat, I think that these things are more important for me because it's about my internal workings of my body. You see, at the end of the day, if I eat what everyone else is eating so that I can look like everyone else, but I end up with insulin resistance, if I end up with diabetes, if I end up with heart disease, if I end up with any metabolic anything that's negative for me, I'm the one that has to live with it. It's all fine and good for you to judge what I'm eating, but at the end of the day, it's me that has to live this life. When I focus my attention on how much the scale says, when I focus my attention on how clear my skin is, when I focus my attention on what I'm putting on my plate and how you're judging what I'm putting on my plate, what I'm really saying is that what the world thinks about Violet is more important than what's healthy for Violet. And what's so ironic is that if I focus my attention on the things that I know are healthier, eating low carb, eating ketogenic, even though every person around me feels that I'm making a mistake, or I shouldn't say every person, but most of them feel like I'm making a mistake. When I focus on eating the way that it's helping my body to move forward healthy, guess what happens? Good health comes along with it. It's so important for you to do what makes sense internally so that you can live a healthy life. When I do what makes sense internally for my mind, speaking my mind when someone hurts my feelings, standing up for myself when I believe that what I'm trying to accomplish for me is right, being willing to engage a negative situation, so maybe potentially having an argument with someone, potentially. It might not turn into an argument, but being able to engage that situation because I feel I've been wronged, psychologically means that I will do better. Because in the end, if I actually engage that interaction, what I end up doing for myself is saying, Violet, you're important. And it's the same thing with food. It's the same thing with exercise. It's the same thing with doing things for myself. It doesn't matter what I look like in the bathing suit, as long as I know that internally what I ate was healthy for me. And ironically, like I said, by eating what's better for me, so allowing the people, the naysayers who don't believe that carbs are dangerous and who keep pushing me to try to get me to eat something else, see, this is where we get into trouble. Because I care what I look like on the scale, because I care what that number is on the scale, I end up caring what they think about what I eat. And that's what gets me into trouble. It doesn't matter what the scale number says. The same way that it doesn't matter what they think about what I'm eating. What matters is that I'm eating healthy. What matters is that I feel healthy. What matters is that my body moves the way I want it to move. It doesn't matter what the number on the scale says. It's part of the reason I made that video that says, do not weigh yourself every week or every day, weigh once a month, because it doesn't matter what the number on the scale says. Of course, you want to weigh yourself so you can track progress, but it's about progress. It's not about being a certain number, because at some point, you might want your weight to go up because you're building muscle. It's not about a number on the scale. Health is internal. How your body is functioning on the inside matters so much more than what it looks like exterior. So overweight, again, this is the number that we think is the number that most people should be at. But what happens when you have someone who metabolically is doing fine, no signs of insulin resistance or any kind of metabolic issues happening, and yet they weigh more than the typical person? See, in order for us to really understand how things function, we need to understand how food affects us. I encourage everyone to eat the foods that help you to feel good, to help you to have no inflammation or the least amount of inflammation you can have, that help you to be able to have energy to do what you want to do with your life and your day, to be able to engage with people the way that you want to engage and to have mental clarity. I encourage everyone to eat that way and understand that if I'm paying attention to how I look, so if I'm paying attention to how people see my body, if I'm paying attention to how much I can lift and proving to people that I can lift, that means I'm paying attention more to you than to me, and that's going to cause problems. because it's going to cause me to worry about eating what I am supposed to eat in front of you. Focus on you. Do the things that are healthy for you. Live and eat a healthy lifestyle. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, like and subscribe. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, and I will talk to you next time.